Gregor Rocky's sarcastically labeled heterosexual film The Doom Generation is more relevant now than ever because it is a queer love story and has a wardrobe that is relevant for today's standards. My girlfriend was actually the one that told me about Doom Generation and talked about the overlap between the wardrobe and modern day fashion. So I did what any good boyfriend would do and made a 10-minute YouTube video to show her I listen. So a little bit of the backstory behind the Doom Generation. It was released October 25th, 1995, directed by Gregor Rocky, and had artist/costume designer Kathy Cooper leading the costume design. So the Doom Generation was the second installment of a 3-part trilogy that Greg directed. For our first main character, Amy, played by Rose McGowan, she had a punk rock aesthetic with her black bob haircut and red lipstick. This felt very Uma Thurman in Pulp Fiction, but it was unrelated because TDG was filmed right before the release of Pulp Fiction. So this was basically just a case of like-minded people. She sported a black silk dress underneath her oversized black leather flight jacket and a pair of Doc Marten boots. For jewelry, she's wearing a lot of silver, both for rings and her bracelets. This entire outfit is an embodiment of punk rock, from her black silk dress down to the black Doc Martens. So Kathy said that this outfit was directly influenced by girls who would hang out with punk rock bands. So I thought the flight jacket looked amazing on her. I loved how oversized it was. I also love how much jewelry they gave her when it came to like the silver rings and the bracelets. I thought it was all great. So there's only one outfit change throughout the film for our main characters. So Amy's wardrobe change consisted of a pastel pink 1950s inspired dress with this clear trench coat on, and then on bottom she has a pair of like patent leather knee-high go-go boots. Amy's also seen swapping between this more masculine pair of black, more rectangular sunglasses, as well as this pair of white cat-eye sunglasses that have a very retro 50s look to it. I think the accessorizing was done really well for everybody, but especially for Amy, with those sunglasses that she wears, as well as her silver jewelry. You know, somebody that pulls off the punk rock aesthetic in a more modern way would be somebody like Playboi Carti. Through the years, his interpretation of punk rock has evolved from wearing vintage band t-shirts to black leather jeans, to more recently where he's been opting for a more all-black tonal outfit, oversized pants, these black combat boots, and layering his black hoodies underneath this cut-off jean jacket. It's definitely not a classic interpretation of punk rock aesthetic, but there are a lot of elements that are punk rock, like the all-black color palette, the combat boots. I mean, if you look at him when he's on stage, he's wearing makeup. Jordan, played by James Duvall, had a more classic grunge outfit with his Ministry sleeveless tank top, his ripped up light blue jeans and more of a slim fit, this white and black buffalo plaid flannel shirt tied around his waist, as well as those black combat boots. Personally, I think the flannel that was used in the promo shoot was way better. It was this grayish blue Western flannel shirt that just laid really nicely on him and had these really nice details of like the Western styled pocket, as well as those pearl buttons. I think looked awesome. There is more of a Western influence later on in the film, and we'll touch on that a little bit later. For accessories, he's also opting for silver jewelry with this silver pendant necklace, as well as this silver dangly earring of a skull, which he ends up leaving at the convenience store in the beginning of the film. After Jordan loses his clothes, they end up at the thrift store, which is where he gets a much more generic, like vintage 90s streetwear outfit, and Kathy was very deliberate about that. In the second half of the film, Jordan kind of takes a backseat in the trio's relationship, and Kathy wanted his outfit to reflect that change. Now, this definitely doesn't mean his outfit is a dub. It's actually quite the contrary. On top, he wears this yellow and faded navy striped tee that is very oversized on him. On bottom, he has these straight leg jeans that are in this dark green color, and they are stacked on top of those black leather combat boots that he was wearing before, and this looks so good on him. I love the way that the straight leg jeans are stacking on top of those more slimmer combat boots. It looks awesome on him, and it almost gives me like a militaristic kind of feel to it. He stays wearing his silver pendant chain and also ends up wearing this black leather and silver bracelet that we'll touch a little bit more on later. Since Jordan's second outfit is more of a classic like 90s vintage streetwear outfit, I feel like a person that would represent him very well today would be Sean Witherspoon. Although Sean's cultural relevance has kind of declined in the past couple of years, his color palette and his diversity of garments from the 90s is still so strong, and I think that's also echoed in modern menswear today. There are still so many elements of the 90s that are still such a strong trend. So Xavier, or X, played by Jonathan Sheck, he also has a grunge outfit with his black Dare t-shirt, his black pair of jeans, some sort of black boot, and to finalize his look, he wears this black M65 field jacket. For accessories, he's also wearing a lot of silver with his rings and his necklace. And like we mentioned before, he is the one originally wearing the black leather bracelets. The leather bracelets act as a nod to his bisexuality because you see the sexual tension between X and Jordan throughout the film. Now for X's second outfit, he is seen wearing this denim and floral button-up that is literally never buttoned up, a pair of these navy flared pants with a hologram cowboy belt buckle, and on feet he wears these gray patent leather boots that are acting as his cowboy boots. And then of course he's wearing this cream cowboy hat. When I was doing research, I saw somebody say that this outfit was a very homoerotic cowboy, and I think that's nailing this outfit perfectly. There are a few elements like the leather bracelets and the unbuttoned denim shirt that kind of embody this bisexual nature of X. Someone who embodies this look in the modern day would be country singer Orville Peck. Orville Peck wears a lot of classic Western items like denim on denim, cowboy boots, the cowboy hats, but then he's also seen wearing nudie suits, which are these classic Western styled suits, but they are embellished all over and are extremely flamboyant. In addition to the nudie suits, he's also seen wearing mesh tops, tight-fitting tees, using colors that aren't traditionally considered masculine. Orville Peck has great style because he puts a gender-bending twist on the classic Western style that is so relevant and trending today. Even though the film was very much an indie film, it's become a cult classic and even just recently re-released in 4K with the director's cut, which was unrated. There's no doubt that the film had an impact on culture and even bled into the fashion world. In 2018, Hype magazine did a capsule collection based off of Amy, but what they weren't able to do was capture Amy's essence for shit. I mean, the only thing that this collection had in common with Amy was the pastel pink. After that, there was Marc Jacobs with his subline, Heaven, which was very inspired by Y2K fashion, as well as some 90s stuff. And in 2020, had a collection that had elements of it that were inspired by Gregor Rocky and the Doom generation. From slim ripped jeans with combat boots to similar striped tops, there was an obvious influence from Greg's work. And then there were even more obvious influences, like this sweatshirt with James Duvall's face on it that has a very Doom generation color palette. And I think if you take any of these characters and put them somewhere like in Brooklyn, like Bushwick, I don't think people would bat an eye at it. I think it would look very normal. And that's because there's so many elements of their wardrobe that's relevant to this day. Like for example, you have X's Western attire. Meanwhile, Western style has been very trendy the past year and a half. And then there's also Y2K fashion that has been a pretty strong trend for the past year. And there's a lot of elements in the wardrobe that are relevant and cross over into Y2K fashion, like Jordan's striped oversized tee or his dark green pants that are in more of like a straight baggier fit. And then there's Amy's clear trench coat that I think would fit really well into a lot of the Y2K outfits I see a lot of girls wearing today. I even think some of the grunge and punk rock outfits would work really well with the Y2K grunge aesthetic that's kind of been seeing an uptick on TikTok. Point being is that there's a ton of overlap between this movie and the way that we dress today. And I think it shows that Greg and Kathy really knew what they were doing when making this film. Well, that is going to be it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it. Comment what outfit was your favorite. Subscribe if you haven't already and share it with a friend. All my socials are linked down below. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, where I'm posting costume design and fashion stuff. That's going to be it for me. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.